This video is brought to you by...
It's cool and it's green, nigga. Cool green. It's cool when you got to keep the green.
Welcome to Cool Green Clothing. We done gone worldwide and we coming straight out of Baltimore. And if you ain't on the team yet, come on get with us. Come on and make a purchase. Go online right now. CoolGreenClothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way. That's just basic.
What's up, fam? It's your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and I'm back with another video. In this episode of the Baltimore Way, I'll be talking about the tragic slaying of Freska Yerby, a mother who brutally lost her life after refusing to be in a relationship with a man who couldn't take no for an answer. But before we get into this video, welcome if you're new here to our channel. Please feel free to subscribe, click that notification bell to get notified every time we upload. If you're rocking with the content, smash that like button, share this video with everyone you know. Make sure you watch until the end to hear the full story. All right, let's jump right into it. Monday, July 13th, 2020, East Baltimore, Maryland. 35-year-old Freska Yerby was at her home she shared with her sister and 11-year-old son on Comet Street in the Pleasant View Gardens community. That day was more than likely pretty normal. Freska's son, who we'll call Jay, was home on summer vacation, spending time upstairs in his room. All of a sudden, Jay heard his mother screaming, "No, no, no," and loud noises coming from the kitchen. When he went downstairs to see what was going on, he saw the most horrific sight. His mom was lying on the kitchen floor, bleeding, badly injured, and a man he called Mike was standing over her with a knife in his hand. Jay yelled at Mike to stop hurting his mom. The man stopped and said, "Okay." Then he dropped the weapon. Mike then left the home shirtless through the back door. Jay ran out the front door and started yelling that his mother had just been shot by Mike. As Jay was yelling for help, he watched as Mike walked southbound on North Asquith Street toward East Fayette Street. Jay shouted and pointed out to neighbors that the man walking with no shirt was the same man that had hurt his mother. After Jay told neighbors what Mike had done, he called 911 himself. He told the 911 dispatcher his mother had just been slain. Baltimore police arrived at the home in the 1100 block of Comet Street at 12:32 p.m. Officers made contact with Jay before going into the home. Jay told officers his mother was in the kitchen and that Mike hurt her. An officer entered the home and walked into the kitchen and found Freska lying on her back, suffering from injuries in multiple locations of her body. The officer also noticed multiple knives and broken knives next to Freska's body. She was pronounced expired at the scene. Shortly after, Freska's son was taken to a facility for children for a forensic interview. Jay told investigators what he witnessed Mike do to his mother. Police were able to identify Mike as 63-year-old Michael Biscotti. Investigators showed Jay a picture of Michael and asked if that's who hurt his mom. He replied, yes. Michael Biscotti was wanted on a warrant for first-degree murder in the slaying of Freska Yerby. Police asked the public for help in locating him. They released a photo of a vehicle he may have been driving, a blue-green Chevrolet van with Maryland tags. According to what Freska's best friend told news outlets, Michael Biscotti knew Freska and had been stalking her. The best friend believed that Michael grew angry when Freska refused to date him. She elaborated that Michael wanted a relationship from Freska, but she didn't want one. During my research, I found a LinkedIn profile for Michael Biscotti, and it stated that he was a facility janitor at a company in Baltimore, Maryland. A Twitter thread I ran across pertaining to this case alluded to the idea that Freska and Michael may have worked together, and that's how they knew each other. The thread also made reference to the types of harassment Freska may have endured from Michael. He reportedly threatened her on multiple occasions. The thread said Freska reported it to HR, but nothing was done. He allegedly received what some would call a slap on the wrist. Freska supposedly found out months later that Michael, an ex-con, had committed murder before, reportedly slashing his girlfriend till she was no longer alive. Michael allegedly followed Freska to the restroom and cornered her in uncomfortable situations. Freska was reportedly scared after allegedly hearing Michael talk about how he would end people's lives. He also allegedly pulled a gun on Freska when she would threaten him to back off. The thread included a link to an article about Freska's slaying, but there was nothing to verify if the allegations of harassment at the workplace actually happened. But I do believe it ties in and could be true, since Freska's best friend said that Michael was stalking her. After 4 days on the run, Michael Biscotti was arrested. Video posted to social media showed a man identified as Michael seated on the ground wearing a mask with handcuffs behind his back somewhere along the inner harbor. Police confirmed that the video did indeed depict Michael Biscotti's arrest. He was held without bail, and his preliminary hearing was scheduled for September 1st, 2020. He was charged with first-degree hit, firearm use in a felony violent crime, firearm possession with a felony conviction, and use of a weapon with the intent to injure. Family and friends of Freska missed her very much. They couldn't help but to think about her son and what he had to endure. All who knew Freska hoped justice would be served. The case went to trial on December 2nd, 2021. In court, the defense told jurors during the opening statement that everything the prosecution presented was a colorful story. Prosecutors claimed that Michael went into Freska's home as a friend. Prosecutors told the jury that Freska was cut 16 times with a knife lodged in her side. She also had 3 gunshot wounds to the head, arm, and side. The state explained that Michael walked out of Freska's house with blood on his shirt. The state also presented surveillance footage where Michael is seen throwing his stained shirt behind a dumpster. He then supposedly called a medic and told them, "I had to do it." A crime lab technician verified photo evidence along with multiple knives at the crime scene. After the jury deliberated, Michael Biscotti was found guilty on 3 out of 4 charges, including first-degree murder. He was subsequently sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In addition, he also received a 20-year sentence with the first 5 ineligible for parole to run consecutively. Then another 3 years to serve concurrently. Hopefully, with Michael Biscotti's conviction and sentence, Freska's family and friends got closure to the terrible tragedy. May Freska Yerby continue to rest in peace. My thoughts and prayers are with her family and loved ones especially her son. I pray for his strength to navigate through life after what he experienced. This is such a sad story. Freska lost her life to a very disturbed man who couldn't handle rejection. Freska probably did her best to create boundaries and distance between her and Michael, but he was obsessed, it seemed like. It's a scary thing to have someone stalking you, especially if it's someone you're working with. You cannot put anything past anyone these days. You don't want to be an unfriendly person, but it's hard to differentiate how a person may take your kindness. Michael Biscotti clearly had deep-rooted issues with rejection to the point he took a life, possibly not once, but twice. Fam, tell me your thoughts on this in the comments below. Again, my condolences to Freska's loved ones. All right, fam, that's it for this episode of the Baltimore Way. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times, and I'm out.